Big Dave, CHGO Bulls. It is Friday. I am really excited, not because it's Friday, but because my main man from the Big Red Bus podcast, C Red Fred, is here with his big red binder, with his big red takes. We're going to get into all of it. All-Star game changes, Billy Donovan Hall of Fame, Isaac Okoro, Bulls Frontcourt. We got a lot to get into. Marquez in the chat too. Katie, slap him. CHGO Bulls, it's Friday. I'm excited. I'm not trying to scare you, Katie, but this is where I'm at right now with my energy and excitement. It is Friday, ladies and gentlemen. It is a NFL weekend. It is a Bears football weekend. They play on Monday night. Go Bears, Vikings. Thank y'all for being here. That is Will the Go Gottlieb. You can follow him at Will_Gottlieb on the ones and twos. Perfectly manicured as always is Katie Duffy, and I am Big Dave. BAWL Bow Sports is where you can follow me. But the man of the hour with the soul power is the one down there at the end. You see him, you know him, you love him. His name from the Big Red Bus podcast, our guy, C Red Fred. How you doing, brother?
I am doing absolutely awesome. I can't thank you enough for having me on the Chicago institution. I'm so excited. I see Marquez in the chat already. That's great. Our good old friend from Australia. Well, I must admit, I was shocked when I finally met him. I expected him to be like 5 feet tall or like 4'11". Mm-hmm. He's actually a normal 5'11". So it was great to see him. It's great to see him, and I'm really excited about today's show as we get in, dig deep into Isaac Okoro.
As we take
and all things
the
Bulls.
glorious monstrosity out for a ride on the streets of New York, Chicago.
Right.
What did you think of my intro imitation of you?
It was incredible.
I
loved it.
I've been waiting so long to do that. I was like, we need to get Doug on just so that I can say, the great one, Doug Tonis. How you doing, brother? I loved it.
You a fan, Fred?
Oh, yeah. I thought it was incredible. Like, and I actually said, like, if you played it out of 9 to 10, if you played it to 10 listeners, 9 out of 10 would have said that you were better. Yeah. 9 out of our 10 total listeners that we
No, I said 9 to 10
that's the kind of
good listeners.
That's the kind of math you can expect out of that binder today, ladies and gentlemen, from our guy, C.
I'm
Red
ready to
Fred.
rock.
We are going to be talking Bulls front court. We're going to be talking Isaac Okoro for sure. Also, we got some other news and notes that we are going to dive into. How about right now? How about the NBA All-Star Game changing its format, ladies and gents? The format for the 2026 NBA All-Star Game is likely to be round-robin tournament consisting of 3 8-player teams, 2 USA teams, and 1 world team. The 2 USA teams and 1 world squad would play each other in 12-minute quarters. The All-Star Game will be played in Los Angeles at the Intuit Dome, the home of the Clippers, on February 15th. The game will be aired on NBC and will shift from Sunday evening to a Sunday afternoon start time. This is all coming from the man Shams at ESPN.
They took it off prime time.
They did.
Put it into the afternoon slot.
They did. I'll start with you. Your feelings on this?
Yeah, it's interesting. I do feel like they need to continue experimenting to try to find something that works, or just give up on it, because it really has been just not worth it. Honestly, it's like really just about the accolade at this point. For the last couple of years, I've been feeling like shorter games would be better, because at the end, if it's close, they do try. I don't know if you guys would agree or disagree with that.
Yeah.
So I feel like having it...
Competition kicks in.
Exactly. You're like messing around for 3.5 quarters, and then if the game's close, then they start to try. So for me, like having shorter games would just ideally make you try from the start, because there's not enough time to dog it in the first 3.5 quarters. You just kind of got to go for it. So I'm hopeful this works, and maybe like the round robin element. I feel like not the Euro team, but the world team will try. I feel like they will come with the energy. Absolutely. And maybe that will inspire the Team USA guys to try a little bit harder. I don't know. What do you think? What say you?
Well, do you guys know what All-Star game had the largest U.S. viewership? Can you take a guess?
Was it the one in Chicago?
No, it was in Utah, believe it or not. 1993.
Okay.
Were you alive in 93?
I was.
Okay, good. All right.
I don't think Katie was.
I was a whopping 1 year old.
Do you remember it? You remember, right?
Oh,
Katie?
yeah.
There was 22 million people who watched that game. Obviously, it was Jordan. There were 4.7 million who watched the All-Star game last year. So it's been a steady decline. In 2003 was the last time they were over, I think, 10 million or more. So they have to do something. This is a business decision. And I think the growth in bringing in an international audience, and the NBA doesn't really share those numbers, I think this was a brilliant move. I think it's going to work. And I think you're right, Will. I think these international teams are going to take a lot of pride in trying to beat the U.S. team. And I think the U.S. team overall, there's no doubt about this. U.S. has got overall the better amount of really quality players, despite Jokic, despite Luka. So I think it will result in a massive success for the U.S.
Do you feel this way?
Well, I think that they have better depth, but I think the top 5 players in the world right now are non-American.
Yeah.
Shea, Jokic,
Giannis.
Luka, Giannis. I guess Embiid would be in there if he was healthy, but we can't say that definitively.
Shea's going to play for the international. Oh,
Yeah,
Canadian?
Shea is Canadian, bro.
Yeah.
Yes.
oh, really? I'm shocked to hear that.
DNVR
Maybe you're right
put
then.
put up their picture of, on Twitter of what the world team could look like picking your own world team, and it's very similar to what Goat just said.
Who's the
Luka,
fifth?
Shea, Giannis, Joker, and they had Pascal Siakam.
So if Josh
there as well.
If Josh Giddey makes the All-Star team, he will play for the
He'll be
international.
playing. Yeah, he will play
Correct.
for the world. Yes.
I do have to say this, though. One bit of good news. Everybody should be excited. Every Bulls fan should watch the All-Star game next year. You know why?
Why is this?
Out of the last 25 winners of the Player of the Month award in the Eastern Conference since COVID, 25 of them, they give out 5 a year. There's only been actually 12 players that win the award. Obviously, Giannis won it multiple times. Embiid won it multiple times. 11 of the 12 all made an All-Star team. In fact, 11 of the 12 made an All-NBA team. The only player to not make an All-Star team to win that prestigious award was Kobe White in March of this past year. It will be a massive statistical anomaly if Kobe White does not make the All-Star team, and we should all be excited about this. So I'm looking forward to watching Kobe in his first All-Star game next. And he'll be 21 in that game. 25.
Yes.
Turn 26 the day after. So young, exciting. We should all be excited about Kobe White.
That reminds me of Derrick Rose being the only MVP that's not in the Hall of Fame. So hopefully both of those things turn out better than how they are right now.
Way to take a lot of cold water and dump it right on that point. I thought that was a brilliant point.
I see Mark in the comments, and I just have
Where
to
is
do
he
his
here?
bidding a little
Yeah,
bit.
just do it. Yeah, to keep you in line, keep you in check with
But-
that.
but-
does this excite you though, in any kind of way? Just seeing these kind of changes to the All-Star game, does that make you want to watch more? Or is it the same level that you kind of approach it with every year?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm excited about it. I think it is going to create a lot of intrigue and interest and, national pride. Kind of like replicating the Olympics. In fact, I think the Winter Olympics are going to be going on.
Yes,
During this, right?
It's kind of
right?
push this idea kind of forward.
I love moving it to the afternoon. I mean, my kids aren't young anymore, but I think that's always a good idea to try to get younger kids involved and excited about it.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it's a brilliant move. I'm really excited. I think it's going to rejuvenate the entire event.
I do like the move to the afternoon because, in my opinion, I feel they got to prove it now.
Yeah.
That they belong in that prime time because it hasn't been proven. It's been a given. And it shouldn't be that way anymore because the All-Star games, honestly, I don't even remember the All-Star game last year. And I watched it. And I still don't have a good memory of what happened or anything that went down. So, and that's usually for me like the past few years. Like, I'm a junkie. I love it. I love the game. I love the players. I'm going to watch it. But it'd be cool to have a memory, you know what I'm saying, of looking at those things. The most recent one I have is of Steph Curry and I can't believe, was it Damian Lillard having the half-court shot off from the half-court line, just taking half-court shot after half-court shot and making them in the All-Star game? Like, that was amazing to watch. Watching Steph Curry go crazy is always amazing to watch. But, yeah, this will add, I think, just a little bit of juice to it. But we'll see how serious the guys take it.
Yeah, when I worked at Bleacher Report,
Thanks.
we covered, like, I was on the app team programming, so we were like constantly cutting videos and like updating the app with like live events. And so I was watching all those games very carefully. Since I left there in 2020, I've watched one NBA All-Star game.
Wow.
And it was the one that I was at. So
Flex.
I just like am not interested in the All-Star game anymore. I'm hoping that this brings it back because it is fun in theory.
Yeah.
Like, it should be fun. And I appreciate that they're trying new things to try to make it more fun. I don't know if this will work, but like I don't know, and I don't even know if I'll watch, but like I am glad that they are taking action towards changing it because it's an acknowledgement that it hasn't worked.
Yeah, it's true. Moving into the afternoon is good for our senior citizens. Fred will be able to watch it before his 7 p.m. bedtime.
That is pretty good,
coming
Mark.
from the one and only Mark K.
I got to hand him. That's really
It's
good.
pretty good. Let's move on to talk about a Hall of Famer. Billy Donovan is going into the Hall of Fame today, ladies and gentlemen. It is happening for young Billy Donovan. Congratulations to him. When I say that to people, some might say, oh, my goodness, what do you mean? His record isn't great, his NBA. But, it's the Basketball Hall of Fame, ladies and gentlemen, is what you've done in your career in basketball, including coaching, including coaching as a player, college and pro, and in some instances high school as well. But Billy Donovan's record from college is insane. So let's take a look at what he's done, man. There it is there. 3-time SEC Coach of the Year. He was a 6-time SEC regular season champion, 4 Final Four appearances, 2 NCAA tournament championships. He went to 3, actually, but he won 2. And that's just absolutely amazing coaching career. You see what he's done in the NBA. He's going to get to 1,000 games. As far as coaching is concerned, he's going to get to 500 wins as a coach as well. He's had 6 playoff appearances. I'll let you guess where 5 of those appearances came from. So even though you see that and you see the record and you see what Billy Donovan has done, Fred, what do you feel about Billy Donovan as the coach of the Bulls and just the actual coach of what he's doing and going into the Hall of Fame for?
I absolutely love Billy Donovan as coach of the Bulls. I know I'm probably alone on an island a little bit with this take, but it's a miracle what I think he did last season. I think he should go in the Hall of Fame alone for the fact that this team was top 20 in defensive efficiency. If you look at this team, there's probably one player, or last year's team, not Okoro's here that's changed, but last year there was Io, and he missed half the year. Somehow he got this team with that type of defensive talent to be top 20 in defensive efficiency. It was an absolutely incredible achievement. Every year he's been a coach with the Bulls, with the exception of the first year. They've been top half in defensive efficiency. He's an excellent coach. And I still remember reading Rick Pitino's book. I think it was Born to Coach in the 90s, right before he took the job with the Knicks. He was talking about some of the players he loved coaching in his career. And he was talking about Billy Donovan, who he went to a Final Four with at Providence, and he's saying that Billy Donovan was a coach on the court. He was a fantastic leader. Just the way he talked about him. You heard Jakeem Noah, who played for Tibbs in 2015. He said, Billy Donovan's the best coach I ever played with. Billy Donovan is not a problem for the Chicago Bulls. He's an incredible coach. I think we should all celebrate it. And I'm glad to see Kobe's flying out there. Io's flying out there. Matas is flying out there. It shows, I think that's indicative. If Jim Boylan somehow got into the Hall of Fame, do you think anybody would be flying out to see him? No. Nobody would be flying out. So
flying out to stop it.
Yeah, exactly. Flying out to stop it, exactly. So congrats, Billy Donovan. I love you, and I hope you're a coach for a long time. And to me, it's by far, this and the Okoro trade are the 2 best moves that Acme has done.
You have always backed up Billy Donovan, man. I'm sure you're on board with this right here.
Yeah, I think.
And rightfully so, I'm saying.
Yeah, I just feel like Billy's so far from a problem on this team. And I know there are a lot of problems with this team, and like it's not even that he is one of them. I just think he is not one at all. Like, he's just a very solid coach. Again, we've talked about this a million times. I don't think he's like the best coach in the league, but I think he's really good. And I think there's sort of this grass is always greener complex where it's like, if your team isn't performing, the first thing you look at is the coach. And I just don't think Billy is the problem at all. So I think he's been a fantastic leader for the organization, a spokesperson for the organization, and just like taking the tough questions from the media in being like, I mean, coaching in the NBA is kind of like being like the head manager, or like head of a department in a company. Like you're overseeing the entire coaching staff, like player development staff. Like he's responsible for all these people. And then on top of it, he has to have the individual personal relationships with the players and bring them along as talent, but also like get them, rowing in the same direction, improve their play, develop young talent, come up with like the X's and O's, the strategy, implement that stuff in the game, dealing with the lineups, the rotations. Like that's a lot to deal with. And I just think he's very solid across the board at all of those things. So I have a lot of respect for Billy. I really appreciate the way that he handles the media and his role as far as like being, like I said, the spokesperson for the team. But I also think that he's just like an incredibly solid coach. But I mean, he is going to the Hall of Fame because of his college career. And I think he's one of the great college coaches of all time. I mean, you put him in the category with Coach K and, you know, Patino and all these people. Like, he's done some stuff in college that very, very few people have. So
can I add one more thing on it?
Let's get this break, Fred. I'm going to get that from you when we come back, Fred. We're going to take this break. We'll be right back. Fred's got thoughts for sure. And we're going to talk Isaac Okoro, ladies and gentlemen, CHGO Bulls on your waves.
Okay. We're gonna keep going.
I got one.
Hello.
Should I just keep it talking? I think there's two types of coaches in basketball.
Okay.
There are coaches who adapt their system to the talent, and there are coaches who ask their talent to adapt to the system.
Okay.
Billy Donovan is absolutely – I think you can have success with either way. Bobby Knight was a legendary coach who always asked his talent to adapt to a system. I think Tibbs is that way too. But I think it's much harder to walk that tightrope of creating a new system for your talent. He's done that. Look at the pace, the change in pace when we had DeMar DeRozan to what we are doing now, second in the league in pace. Yeah. Incredible job. And it's so difficult to do that and so underrated how he was able to do that to a high degree of skill. He's an incredible coach. He doesn't get enough love.
Yeah, I've always given him a lot of love for just that turnover and how fast that turnover came because, like you said, DeMar DeRozan, it was DeMar DeRozan and Andre Drummond rebounds, as Go pointed out to me. That was your offense, for the Chicago Bulls. And to go from a team that didn't take a ton of threes, to a team that can't take enough, three-point shots, to a team that was kind of slow and plotting and getting into a mid-range, to a team that's always just getting the ball out of the basket and running, for sure, or getting the rebound, because I feel like rebounding is Josh Giddey's superpower. And that's one of the things he really does well is get rebounds and starts to break and things like that. So I think that's a great thing. And I credit Billy Donovan for all of that, turning over the offense and turning over the defense as well. He deserves a lot of credit. And, he deserves all the love that he needs to get for being a Hall of Fame coach. We're going to take our break right here. When we come back, it's Isaac Okoro, the opening night starter. I know one person with a binder who thinks he should be. We'll talk about it next. You don't see a RC can in my hand. You know why? Because I have already punched my thirst in the face, all right? And you do that with only one cola, the official cola of Chicago. That is RC Cola. No thrills, no gimmicks, no spills, no glitter, no wozies, no wazies, none of that stuff. Just damn good cola. That's it. That's all you're going to get, man. None of that stuff. The stripes have not changed since 1905. Why? Because they didn't need to change anything. It's that same bold, crisp flavor that it's always been. That punch, pow, to the thirst. Stock up for all your end of summer parties, back to school celebrations, or just watching the game. RC is the move for whatever you're doing because it's RC Cola, the official drink of Chicago.
Big Dave, hate is a strong word.
Very.
But I hate, and I know you hate, being hot, sticky, and sweaty. That's why you've got your AC unit.
My baby.
And that's why you all should check out Four Seasons to get your AC units. And you might want to start thinking about your heater too, because Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric has been serving the Chicagoland community for over 50 years. Now is the time to get your air conditioner checked out, and Four Seasons experts are ready to help you with AC installation, maintenance, and repair. It has been a brutally hot summer, and you know the winter is coming in hot. Four Seasons expert technicians ensure you always receive reliable service, and they don't charge more for service on nights, weekends, and holidays. You can schedule a Four Seasons AC tune-up today, save $50, and enjoy a 1-year no-breakdown guarantee. Or you can save up to $4,000 on new comfort systems with Four Seasons. New AC units from $39 a month and AC furnace combos for $57 a month. Trust your local experts at Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Visit fourseasonsheatingcooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. It's fourseasonsheatingcooling.com.
What up, y'all? CHGO Bulls, Big Dave, Will Short Punch Gottlieb, and the man over there, that is C-Red Fred. Hit the like button. Just because we're having an awesome Friday does not mean Katie won't come after you. Hit the like button. Make sure you're dropping your comments. And also, I forgot to mention at the beginning of the show, this is our last day of our Big Brothers and Big Sisters of America donations. This is the last day we're doing it this week. It'll be going on all month long, but this is the last day of the week that we'll be doing it. So please donate. And if you would like to become a big brother or a big sister, it would be awesome if you did. bbbs.org/allcity is where you need to go to become one and to donate and to find out more about the awesome things they do at the Big Brothers and Big Sisters of America.
And you can also see in the chat the little heart handshake.
Yes, that's where you donate.
Can click that and donate.
Mm-hmm. And shout out to my man Nick, man, who's hit me up earlier. I was talking about it earlier.
Yeah.
Shout out to Nick P. I saw him in the chat also as well. Peace to you, bro. My man.
Appreciate you.
Let's talk about C-Red Fred's favorite guy. That is Isaac Okoro. He is here for the Chicago Bulls, and Fred is very happy. Made the trade for Lonzo Ball, straight up. Lonzo Ball, congratulations, Lonzo Ball. Wish you nothing but wonderful success in Cleveland. But Isaac Okoro is now a Chicago Bull. And I think the biggest question I have, and I'm specifically I'm going to ask you this, Fred, is Isaac Okoro, is he what the Bulls have kind of been looking for as far as a 3-and-D wing? Because they have been missing that for years. Like my man has always said, it's a Patrick Williams-sized hole in this offense. And I feel like the Bulls have been putting up patchwork trying to fill it. And Isaac Okoro, when you're looking at him, if you look at his stats, like it doesn't really showcase it truly. Do you have his career stats? Let's take a look at his career stats. Because if you look at them, it doesn't really showcase truly what his value can be. See the 8 points, the 2 rebounds, the 1 assist, the 46% from the field, the 35% from three, and the 73% field goal shooting. Not a super efficient scorer as far as percentage is concerned, but it's just all solid. Just all kind of solid numbers across the board. But his impact might be a little bit bigger than that. We talking to my guy Bob from the Feel the Fro podcast. He was saying the same kind of things. He would have games where his three-point shot would just be truly falling, where he was really impacting the game with his defense also as well. But hearing all that, Fred, and knowing all that, do you think that Isaac Okoro is the 3-and-D wing that the Bulls have been looking for?
Isaac Okoro is 6'5", 225 pounds.
6'8" wingspan.
Of pure granite, 24 years old. In March of 2024, I watched a game against the Cavs versus the Timberwolves. He held, in that game, was, I think, one of the best defensive games I've ever seen any player have. He held Anthony Edwards to 7-27 shooting. And after that game, nobody watching this show, or none of you guys watched that game, I did. After that game, JD Bickerstaff got on and said that, hands down, Isaac is the best perimeter defender in the NBA. If you Google Okoro defensive highlights, you will find, you can watch the first minute, you'll see him guarding Jalen Williams. You'll see him guarding, Trae Young. You'll see him guarding every good 1-and-3. Every game that he played, he was asked to guard the best player in the opposition. He is incredibly versatile as a defender, and most importantly, and this is the best stat that I can't stress enough, when I asked to guard one-on-one against the best player in the opposite team, you have to be able to get through the mountain of picks that are going to be set on you. And what did Isaac Okoro do against the players? What did the players who shot against Isaac Okoro do? 5% less from the field on 2-point shots, and within 6 feet of the rim, they shot 8% less. Thank you, Michael Walton, for that stat. He's one of the most versatile, fantastic defenders in the league. Now, let's go to the offensive end.
Wait. Let's stay with defense for a second, because I feel like there is a lot to get into with that. And I agree. Like, I think – what?
Oh, keep going.
Oh.
I was wondering when one of you guys was going to notice.
I saw it earlier. I
I
was just laughing.
I feel like I want to break it down, or like the way I'm envisioning this is like talking about his defense a little bit, talking about his offense, and then talking about his net impact, right? Because I think the defense is definitely his calling card, and I agree that like he is very solid there. I wonder if he is going to be like a B+, A- defender, or like an A+ defender, and I'm very curious to see kind of what he looks like. I think when you make a trade for a player like that, and you talk about trying to build a defensive identity, like you are hoping that he can be the starter probably. And you are hoping that he can be someone that fills in a role that maybe a Caruso had a couple of years ago that was like being the identity of your defense. And I think he's like capable of doing a lot of that. I think he's probably closer to like an A- defender than an A+. But he's still a young player. He can still continue to improve on that end, and he is still really good. So I just wanted to pull a couple of stats on this. So last year, defensive EPM, which advanced all-in-one stat, not be-all, end-all, but plus 0.7, which was 78th percentile. So that's like C+, B- caliber, but not his best season as a defender. The year before that, it was also plus 0.7, but that was in the 81st percentile. And then the year before that was really his best season defensively. That was plus 1.1, 89th percentile. So I think he's got like, B+, A- caliber of defense in him in the right role. And I think he's got a chance to step into an even bigger role, which could vault him higher. I don't know if you would agree or disagree with that, but like for me, I think the defensive element there is huge for the Bulls, especially with what they need, because I think you're right that like the 3-and-D wing, especially when you've got like Giddey, Kobe, Vooch out there, I think Matas is not quite a positive defender yet, although he certainly has the tools and I think projects out to be. You do need to have point of attack in there. Fred, how do you see him in terms of his defensive role? Is it more of a point of attack guy where he's guarding ball screens and like you're talking about getting over screens? Is it versatile where he's switching onto the, whoever's in front of him and guarding anyone from like Steph on one night to Jimmy Butler, or I was going to say Tatum, but he's obviously not playing, but that kind of player?
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at the Cavs, they have Garland and Donovan Mitchell in the backcourt. They absolutely, neither of those guys can guard. They had to bring Okoro in to take on the best defender in every game. He's elite at switching. He's a high IQ defensive player. I am like shocked. I think we've officially jumped the shark in terms of a fan base in the reaction to this trade. If you look at Lonzo Ball, I'm going to get a little bit in offense here. Lonzo Ball last year, first of all, he never played a game for the Chicago Bulls in 4 years after the All-Star game. 0. 4 straight years. Last year, in his comeback year, he shot 36% from the field. Isaac Okoro shot 37%, so 36% from the field. That includes layups for Lonzo. Isaac Okoro shot 37% from 3, 46% from the field, 10 full percentage points higher than Lonzo Ball. And yet the trade's made, and I hear all the hand-wringing. Oh, my God, what did we do? We were acting like we traded Jordan for, Harold Miner. It was insane, the reaction to that. So I will say that made me nauseous. And I see the question on here. Cavs, why did the Cavs trade Okoro for an oft-injured Lonzo Ball if Okoro is such a great defender? This is the least talked about topic out of this entire trade. The Cavs did not want to trade Isaac Okoro. They were forced to because there's one team in the NBA that's now projected to be over the second apron, and that's the Cleveland Cavaliers. If you go back one summer, there were 3 teams projected to be in the second apron, and that was the Minnesota Timberwolves, that was the Boston Celtics, and that was the Phoenix Suns. Do you really think the Timberwolves, despite what Joe Colley will tell you, wanted to trade Karl Anthony Towns for 2 inferior players to the Knicks? No, they had to. I don't want to get in all the specifics of what this means, but basically is a death sentence for a team to be in the second apron 2 years in a row. So that's why they made the trade. That's why the Suns made all their trades. That's why the Celtics blew up their team. The Cavs have no choice. They needed to do whatever it takes to make maximum flexibility on the margins to make this trade. And I can guarantee you this, Lonzo Ball will not be on the team next year. They're either going to trade him or they're going to cut him. Or if he is on the team, they're going to renegotiate his contract to a lower dollar amount because the Cavs cannot be in the second apron for 2 years in a row. That's why they made the trade. They sold it to all these dumb national writers like, oh, this is what we're doing. No, that's not why they did it. It's so obvious to me, and it's incredible to me that this isn't being debated. I'm sorry.
We want you to cook. That's what you're here for.
Yeah, this is why we invited you on. But I will say, like, one, I'm just looking it up right now. I believe they still are in the second apron. I know.
Oh, that's my point.
Yeah.
You can't do it 2 years in a row, though. If you do it 2 years in a row.
Well, they were last year, too, right?
No, they weren't.
Oh,
they were under the upper. So here's the ramifications if we're going to get a little bit into that. Your draft pick is then frozen for 7 straight years. 7 years out. You can't trade anything. You can't. If you're in the second apron, that's why it has become a hard cap. People don't realize it yet, but that's why all those 3 teams blew up all their teams and made all these trades. The Cavs are the only team in this situation. They might be over the second apron this year, guys. That might happen. They will not do it 2 years in a row unless they win a title.
I think right now they're significantly over.
13 million over the second apron.
This says 19.7, so I don't know exactly what it is, but in that range. And I think that's certainly going to be a challenge. But let's talk more about it.
Let's talk about. I definitely have another question and more questions dealing with Isaac Okoro and the Bulls front court. We will get into them. Make sure you are sending your comments and hit the like button. Do it for Katie.
Hit the like button.
Just come on, man. I'm trying to help y'all. It's a Friday. Let's do it. CHGO Bulls. Come on back.
1-inch putt. All right, athletes, here's the question for you. Are you serious about leveling up your game? Because right now, the right coach can change everything. And right now, finding one is easy with Eye on the Ball. Created by two of our very own diehard subscribers. Shout out to them. It doesn't matter if you're a kid starting out or competing at the top level. You can sign up at eyeontheball.net. All you have to do is create a profile, and you can search through a bunch of different coaches for your sport and connect with them directly so that they can help coach you up. They've got soccer, swimming, baseball, basketball, you name it. The coaches are there, and they're there to help. So what are you waiting for? Your future coach is one click away. Jump on today at eyeontheball.net. That's eyeontheball.net. Find your coach and take your game to the next level.
We'll go, Gottlieb. What time is it?
Give it out.
It is NFL season, sir. And it started. Actually, it started yesterday, and it's going to go on again today, and it's going to go on this weekend, and it's going to go on to Monday. Bears. And the only place you need to be getting those tickets is from Game Time. When my man Greg Braggs and I went to the Packers game last year, that's a flex. What did we do? We stood right outside that stadium, pulled out the Game Time app, clickety-clack, got us some tickets, and we're right in enjoying that game. It is absolutely awesome, and as advertised, ladies and gentlemen, they come with the fees included, so you don't have to play around with nothing. You already know what you're getting right up front. Zone deals, y'all. Seat views, y'all. The lowest price guarantee, and, of course, that Game Time ticket coverage. They have got it all. So take that guesswork out of buying NFL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use that code CHGO. Get yourself $20 off your first purchase.
Terms apply.
I said CHGO. Get yourself $20 off your first purchase.
Terms apply.
That's on Game Time today, y'all. Create an account, redeem that code CHGO. Get yourself $20 off. Tap, ticket, and go. Download with the Game Time app today. Because once again, what time is that?
Katie, just kidding. Game Time. Hoot.
CHGO Bulls rolling along with y'all. Make sure you're hitting that like button. Make sure you're dropping those comments like Mark K definitely is. Shout out to you, friend. We'll go Gottlieb, C-Red Fred, Katie on production, Big Dave hanging with you. Here's my question now for you, C-Red Fred. You love Isaac Okoro. You've discussed it. You've discussed his impact, what he could do for this Bulls team defensively. And, the three-point shooting has definitely gotten better. It's still in the middle, but it's gotten better because it was like a 29% when he first walked in here. So he's definitely gotten way better at that. My question is, should he be the opening night starter for the Chicago Bulls?
Unequivocally, the answer is yes. And I understand your concern about three-point shooting. Last 2 years, he shot 39%. 2 years ago, 37% last year.
Yes.
Kevin Huerter is the other guy everybody's talking about. Kevin Huerter is in the same stratosphere in terms of defensive point of attack ability as Isaac Okoro. Isaac Okoro shot 37% last year from three. Guess what Kevin Huerter shot? 37%. Now, I understand volume is not the same.
Correct.
I understand that Kevin Huerter is probably going to attract a little bit more attention.
A little bit.
The fact of the matter is he still shot better than Kevin Huerter. 39% 2 years ago. It's like I'm living. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills with this whole situation. I cannot believe. Maybe I am. Maybe I am. I don't know how many quotes I have to come up with coaches who say, "Here's a quote from an unnamed Eastern Conference coach, like Jimmy Butler. Isaac Okoro is not going to give you anything easy. He's because of his level of physicality. He embraces that role. He's that guy. He knows how impactful it can be for a group." I can impact winning. He's comfortable knowing I can impact winning by doing just this. So you can believe this coach in the NBA, or you can believe Mark K in his basement in Australia or the attic. I don't know where he's at right now. One of the two places. But I would go with whoever this coach is, unless it's Jim Boylan. I don't know who this person is.
Katie.
Do you have a question, Katie?
I just feel like it's not trustworthy because it didn't come out of the binder. Like, if the quote came out of the binder, I'd probably trust
this
it.
binder was from the University of Northeast Idaho. And here's another stat.
I definitely don't trust
Here's
it
another
then.
stat stat. Here's another stat that I'm going to throw over at Mark. That's going to blow his mind.
I'm
going to read it as is. Based on the 2024-25 Cavs net rating impact, points per 100 possessions while on the court, here's where Isaac Okoro stands. Third on the team. He's ahead of Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. Jared Allen and Evan Mobley are 1-2. What does this mean? Even though he plays fewer minutes, Okoro's efficiency impact is on par with Cleveland's cornerstone bigs. Listen, I know we weren't celebrating when we signed Caruso a couple years ago. I know there wasn't a big party for it. We cannot be this jaded as a fan base to say this was a big mistake, trading Lonzo Ball, who shot 36%, who's never played past the All-Star break, for a 24-year-old defensive stud. You have to stand up and be honest and be like, this was a good move, because it absolutely was. And again, I'll say it 100 times. The Cavs did not want to trade Okoro. Okoro is the new age Keith Bogans. I am so upset at Mark, I can't even take it anymore. I feel like throwing my red binder through the TV screen.
Well, we know you won't be violent. We know that's not how you roll.
Okay, exactly. I'll calm down. But just these comments are just so outrageous.
Well, go get
I think the money and the cap piece of it is an interesting factor. I do feel like the Cavs needed to cut salary. To your point, like the second apron and the penalties there are too much to handle. And so basically what they were able to do was turn Lonzo into the replacement for both Ty Jerome, who they let walk away for nothing, and Okoro. So they were able to get a replacement guard who can shoot, but also a defensive player who obviously, needs to stay healthy in order for him to be able to help them.
Correct.
And so they didn't need to cut salary in that way. And I think like Okoro, yes, he is low volume, but like his last 537 3-point attempts over the last 3 years, he shot 37%, 37.5%. So like, I do think he's the kind of player where if you leave him open, he'll probably knock it down at a pretty reasonable rate. To me, the issue there, or the question that I have with that, is like, how much is he going to force teams to guard him? Are they just going to be fine with him knocking down 37% of open threes? Mm-hmm. And if so, like, is that enough to overcome playing 4-on-5 in other scenarios? Mm-hmm. And also I think like when you put him into the Bulls offense and like his fit with Giddey, I think could be really interesting there, where he's getting up and down, maybe he's touching the ball a little bit more, driving, attacking closeouts, having more opportunities to play with an advantage. I think that helps him. I don't feel like having him stand in the corner and space the floor is productive. So I am curious and optimistic to see how Billy Donovan decides to use him to, one, unlock his skill set a little bit, because I do think he's got some ball skills, but two, to prevent Billy's offense from having multiple non-shooters. Because to me, that is a big concern, is like if Vooch goes back to 29% from three instead of 43%, like that really changes the floor. Yes. If Giddey does not have the ball, he's not being guarded.
Correct.
You sent us some clips of Kobe drawing attention. The reason he's able to do that is because of the non-shooters around him. If you introduce Okoro instead of Kevin Huerter, and you've also got Vooch who regresses to the mean, and you've got Matas who is improved but still not like a really reliable or threatening shooter to a lot of defenses, the court is just going to be so cramped. And that's my concern. I'm open to like seeing how it goes with him, but those are kind of the questions that I have with it.
Well, I'll say that and then I'll hand it right back to you, sir. As far as a starter, I don't mind Okoro. I do agree with you, him being a good player and a defensive stalwart for sure. When I see him, I think bench player. And that's how I feel about him. Not to say he can't be a starter for the Bulls. Obviously, he can be. That three position is wide open for him to go ahead and challenge. Things may change in training camp, but I haven't seen what Kevin Huerter has done to lose this position. Like, for it to just be given to Isaac Okoro. I haven't seen what Kevin Huerter – matter of fact, when you had Kevin Huerter and you brought him in there is when your team started winning. It's when they started changing it around. It's when you went 17-10, because he was a huge part of that. He also can help start some of the offense as well, because Billy would give him the ball and allow him to bring the ball up the floor and try to run the offense in that kind of way. You have to work, whether he's shooting the same as Isaac Okoro or not, he's a threat every time he steps on the floor from the three-point line. Teams are going to have to take notice of him regardless, more so than they would Isaac Okoro, who's going to have to prove it when he's out there on the floor. Like, he's going to have to hit a few in a row. Kevin Huerter, if he hits a few in a row, oh, man, whoever's guarding him is getting out the game. You know what I mean? Because you're not supposed to leave him open. So I haven't seen what Kevin Huerter has done to say, okay, let's move him to the starting lineup. And I also like Isaac Okoro coming off the bench more because of the defense. I think that change of pace from what the Bulls like to do as far as getting out and running the floor and the guys kind of spacing out, you know, and letting Josh Giddey do what he does and finding people, and letting Kobe do what he does and finding people and getting his own shots as well. I feel like there was a nice chemistry between Kevin Huerter and Josh Giddey and Kobe White and Nikola Vucevic. I thought it fit kind of well and worked that way. Now, again, like I said, this might change in training camp, but I just haven't seen what Kevin Huerter has done to say you should not be the starting three for this team, at least to start the season.
Yeah, and just my opinion, and I disagree. I will state that the delta between Kevin Huerter, his three-point shooting, and Okoro's three-point shooting is much smaller than the delta between Isaac Okoro's defense and Kevin Huerter's defense.
I agree. But as far as the threat is concerned, when teams come into play, like, who do you think is the actual threat on the floor before
on
they
the
do
offensive
anything?
end?
On the offensive end, that's all I'm talking about.
100%. But my counter to that is the top 13 teams in defensive efficiency in the NBA made the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
The bottom 8 missed the playoffs. Mm-hmm. There is no better predictor of a playoff team than defensive efficiency.
Absolutely.
You cannot go into a season with Kevin Huerter, Kobe White, Josh Giddey, and the great rim presenter as your 4 starters and expect to win as a consistent rate. You just can't. You need to have a defensive stopper, point of attack, who will assign himself to every great perimeter scorer in the league, whether it's Brunson, whether it's Tatum when he's healthy, he guards them all. And he takes, most importantly, he takes that huge pressure off of Kobe and off of Josh Giddey. And then whoever the best defender is, that's who Isaac Okoro has. And just Huerter can't do that. He just can't. He's not a great defender. He's crafty, etc.
I agree with that.
I think
but what you're saying for me feels more second half of the game, fourth quarter things than it does starting the actual game.
One
you know
more,
what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
But I think he'll close.
Okay.
But I think the other point that we've also glossed over is how good Okoro is in transition.
Yeah,
all the
he's good in
advanced
transition.
stats.
Yes, that's
all
true.
the advanced stats talk about that. Do you know 2 years ago the Cavs were like 30th in pace? Last year, even though they improved quite a bit, they were still 10th. They're not second like the Bulls. Like, this is a match made in heaven, and I cannot wait to come back on this show sometime when Mark is here and Isaac Okoro is like taking Chicago by storm, and everybody loves him because he is exactly the type of player that Chicago loves. And then I can't wait because I'm going to remember all these comments. I'm going to put it in my big red binder, and I'm going to write it down and repeat it all, and we're all going to have a great laugh.
I love
Can't
that
wait.
Goat has a laptop and he's got a binder. That's the best. Go ahead, Goat.
You know, I feel like I'm pretty in the middle on Okoro, like as a player. I get the limitations, and I think it's probably more of an issue around like the Bulls continuing to get guys that are really like solid on one end, but like pretty shaky or questionable on the other. Again, I think Okoro has improved over his career, and I expect him to continue to do that. And like I said before, I think he's really going to fit well in the Bulls offense, and hopefully that unlocks some things.
I agree.
To me, though, the question, and this is kind of where I'm curious to get your opinion, Fred, is like the opportunity cost of it. So we talked a little bit about the cap implication, where over the last 6 or 8 months, Arturis has come out a couple of times and said, we're going to have flexibility going into 2026, 27. When you turn Lonzo Ball, who had a team option that year and theoretically could be an expiring contract, into $11.8 million for that year, you cut into it. It's obviously not a huge number, but to your point, with the second apron being effectively a hard cap, like every dollar matters for you, but then more importantly, for other teams. If these guys are not the players that you hope that they can be, and they're making that kind of money, they're just really difficult to move. Conversely, if he does play really well and, really pops, then he's only under contract for 2 years and you've got to now pay him. So that's not the end of the world. I think that's a good problem to have. If you want to end up retaining him, like because he's earned it, then by all means. But I think that the opportunity cost there of what you could potentially do with your cap space, and maybe you just think Okoro is better than what they could have done with that space. I'm open to that. But then the final piece of it just being that a draft pick there, which, we don't know what it would have looked like at the end of the year, but obviously there were the rumors about the Grizzlies pick being available for Alonzo. if they had taken on Marcus Smart.
Yeah.
Marcus Smart was expiring this year, which would have lined up with their plan to have cap space after next season. And then you're getting a cost-controlled rookie for 4 years, making like, $3-4 million. So I think it's just like the question of what else they could have gotten. And if Isaac Okoro is the best they could have gotten, like, I think that's a fine bet to make. He's younger, he's more consistent, more reliable, less injured. Like, I don't have a real problem with that. To me, it's just like, I wonder what the other options were.
Great question. And I
know you being as high on Okoro, maybe you feel differently.
Well, the fact is, when the Bulls re-signed Lonzo at the trade deadline, I was very vocal. I wanted the Bulls to trade Lonzo. Every argument I've ever had about Lonzo Ball has started with, and for the people, I want the Bulls to be out of the Lonzo Ball business. And everybody would counter with, well, if he stays healthy. If you start out the sentence with that, if Lonzo stays healthy, you lost the argument. It's insanity to me that people actually thought this was like a great decision, and people were kind of celebrating. I agree with you. Like, I wanted them to make that trade with Memphis, and Memphis at the time at the All-Star break was like second or third in the Western Conference. They collapsed. It would have been a high top 20 pick.
Yeah.
That said, there's nothing we could do about that now. The fact is, Isaac Okoro paid on this contract is underpaid based on how he played when that contract was signed. What did the Cavs do? Because they have a smart front office. They took the restricted free agent hammer that they're finally using now on Josh Giddey, and everybody knew that Isaac Okoro had a better year than Patrick Williams. He saw what Patrick Williams signed for, and the Cavs said, we're not signing to that. And they took the hammer because restricted free agents, we've seen it happen here with Josh Giddey and everyone else in this market, and they forced him into a deal that he actually outplayed. He shot 39% that year, and he had an excellent season on the defensive end. So this is a bargain contract for this player. It is. And he signed for one more year after this. I think where the Bulls are right now, this is a great move. Well, I don't think they would have got anything better than that. Let's play it out. Like, what do you expect? In a best-case scenario, what happens? Lonzo plays really well. Are you confident in that?
No, I agree with you. They should have gotten out of the Lonzo business while they had the opportunity. I suggested that they do a very team-friendly deal with around basically what they gave him before that. But that was operating under the assumption that if he was able to remain healthy, because at that point he was, that they could flip him for a first-round pick at the deadline or in the offseason because of the team-friendly.
They couldn't have. He didn't finish the year playing a game.
Yeah, I agree. They should have traded him at the deadline.
Yeah.
And if they couldn't do that, then try to get him to sign a cheaper contract so that he would be more movable. Because I think he was playing well enough. And obviously, you don't know. They didn't know what was going to happen. I do think his knee was not a problem. Last year it was like a kind of fluky wrist thing. So I'm hopeful for Lonzo that he's able to play. But I agree that they should have gotten out of that business. It's just a matter of for me, I probably would have leaned pick there because of the cost-controlled element and just more upside. Like, Okoro's, this is going to be his age 25 season. Are you at all concerned, Fred, about the minutes? Like, obviously 32 minutes his rookie year, 30 minutes his second year, but from there it was 21, 27, and 19 last year. Played 55 games, only 22 starts. Like, do you feel like that was just a product of the environment around him?
It was a product of the Cavs are absolutely loaded with talent, and they proved it in the regular season, winning more games than any other team in the NBA. And then when it gets into the playoffs, things get a little crazy, and their head coach made a decision that probably wasn't wise because they were out in the second round. The Cavs are a unique team in that their backcourt has, obviously Garland. I love Donovan Mitchell. I'm not as big of a fan of Garland. Neither of those guys can guard. But you have to play those guys. They have an insane amount of usage. They have talent all up and down the roster. I mean, I think they were just kind of grasping for straws by the end of the year. I think Okoro this happens in the NBA. Sometimes some coaches like other guys better than others. I think Kenny Atkinson made a mistake by limiting his minutes, but the coach before that, Bickerstaff, absolutely loved Okoro. And I feel like he just got caught in a weird situation where there's too much talent, a limited amount of minutes. It's not going to be a problem here for Chicago Bulls.
That's true. He's going to have plenty of opportunity to shine. Let's move on. We're going to still stick with our Isaac Okoro, but I kind of want to open it up a little bit more. Talking about Hoops Hype, who just released their top 26 power forwards list in the NBA, and alas, no Chicago Bulls are represented. I'll give you the top 10. Giannis, Pascal Siakam, Paolo Banchero, Banchero, excuse me. Evan Mobley, Anthony Davis, Jaren Jackson Jr. Still taking him over Luka? No? No?
I'll
All right,
pass on that.
messing with you. Julius,
Bring that out.
Just messing with you. John Sabine was one of my favorite moments of my life, was watching Sabine and you go at that. Julius Randle, Zion Williamson, Cam Johnson, and Lauri Markkanen, who I would have over Cam. Agree? Disagree with this top 10? Sound fire?
I think it's horrible that Larry is listed behind Cam Johnson. I think it's ridiculous.
I put him over Zion too, but that's me.
Who wrote the thing that people get caught up in these rankings are some guy writes it. Like I remember a couple of years ago they had the Bulls guard packs ranked behind Orlando, and like for 4 or 5 straight years before that, the Bulls had a better record. They were much better. It was obvious to anyone with an IQ over 50. But this guy, whoever wrote the article, had a better relationship with the Orlando front office, so he ranked them ahead of him. That's insane. Lauri Markkanen is a better player than Cam Johnson. And for him to say that, I'm going to throw whatever he says right out the window.
Well, I will say that no Chicago Bulls were on this list as far as a power forward, and no Bulls were on it when they did small forwards either. So it kind of got me to thinking about this question with, no small forward and no power forward. Kind of begs the question here, like, do you think Isaac Okoro, Matas Buzelis, those guys are the answer for the Bulls' front court woes going into the future? Like, even if you don't believe it, do you believe that player is here on the team? Is it a Noah Essengay? Is it Kevin Huerter or someone like that? Do you feel like the answer is here? And I'm specifically asking, though, about Isaac Okoro because I know that's your guy.
Well, I love Okoro, but he's not a 4. He's a –
I said front court. So, like I said, no small forward was on this list either.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm asking it the 3 or the 4. That's why I asked Okoro and Matas. Do you feel that combo is the answers to the Bulls' front court issues?
I love Matas. I think we're putting an undue amount of pressure on him for this season. I don't think it's going to be as good as everybody's expecting. I think he's shown incredible promise as a rim protector. But if you look at some of the games, I still have nightmares of the first play against the Pistons where Thompson just dropped his shoulder into his chest and basically threw him into the front row. He
got bigger, man.
He's just not there. He's just not there as a defender yet.
He's a rookie.
I know. I love him. I love him too.
Fair.
I love him too. But I just don't think it's fair.
He's one of the best defenders in the league. Come on.
Well, no, I'm talking about Matas.
No, I'm saying defender. Thompson is one. Is
yeah,
awesome.
He's fantastic. Exactly.
But I'm saying like Matas was a stick.
Thompson's
he's not
awesome.
a stick figure. He put a little muscle.
He put a little muscle on. He's still got a way to go. He's a great rim defender. But I think it's unfair to kind of what we're doing with Matas this year. I feel like we're really kind of like over expecting him to be an all-star. Are you guys sensing this? I'm sensing this.
I don't have that expectation, but I have told Goat this. I absolutely put expectations on him for year 2 because it's what he asked for. It's what he continues to say. When you can't continue to say, I'm going to be the best, I want to be the best player in the league, I want to be the best player on the team, and not have people start putting expectations on you. You're going to be challenged with that. And I think it's fair, and it's deservedly so. Katie?
Yeah, I have a thought. I don't think it's fair to expect him to be an all-star this
Correct.
upcoming
I agree
season.
with that.
But I think if he's not in this, top 26 among his position next season, something went horribly wrong.
Yeah.
I understand why he's not, top 26 this season. Fine, whatever. He's a rookie. I don't care. But next season, if he is not on this list, something went
Jeremy
horribly
Grant
wrong.
at 22, Obi Toppin, 23. Tari Eason starts it off at 26. Like, yeah, he should be flirting with this a little bit.
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying? The next year. And again, I'm not putting that. I agree with. I'm not putting those expectations as far as an all-star, but I do expect some kind of growth.
Yeah, I absolutely do too. I just think like I don't want it to be a situation. And again, it's not a fair comparison because Patrick obviously hasn't developed in the way that people hoped. But like, let's not go through this again. Where like, if Matas doesn't develop the way that people hope, like, are they going to just start hating him? Like, that doesn't feel productive to me.
It is not.
And I feel like it has not been productive for Patrick. So,
But I don't think people were at all critical of Patrick for. All I heard was excuses about Patrick Williams for the first 3 years.
That is pretty true.
And people were just always defending him, and I've never seen a worse rookie season than Patrick Williams had, where more people celebrated it like he did anything. He didn't play hard. He shot his on-off number. He had the worst plus-minus on the team by a mile. It took him a half an hour to get around screens. He was not a good player as a rookie, but he was given that opportunity because they wanted to see him develop. And all I heard for the next 2 or 3 years, excuse after excuse about Patrick Williams. I feel like we'll probably do the same with Matas. I have a lot more faith in Matas because I thought we saw a lot more signs from Matas than we did from Patrick Williams in his rookie year. So, I'm hopeful. I realize Patrick Williams is a role player. If he can hit 40% from three and play a little good, some decent defense one-on-one, that's all I want from him. Matas has a much higher ceiling than that.
I agree.
Oh. Yeah, no, I agree too. And I think Billy has always been very, he's never thrown guys under the bus, but he's very honest and he puts it carefully. But I think if we were listening more carefully, we would have seen those signs coming in terms of how Billy felt about Patrick. And I think I'm going to go into next season listening more carefully about what he has to say about Matas too, because he said similar things. Not to say Matas was eating the chicken parm stuff, right, but he was talking a lot about Matas and his understanding of what it means to be a professional, what he needs to do to prepare himself, and how he needs to get his body in order, and how he needs to prepare for games and read the scouting report and all that stuff. And so I'm just going to be monitoring that a little bit more closely now, having the experience of going through what we have seen with Patrick over the last couple of years.
So, C-Red Fred, my friend, you are here, and we wanted to give you this time right here, sir, because on this show sometimes we can get a little cloudy, you know what I'm saying, a little melancholy, on this show, and you are just a bright red ray of Bull sunshine. But we would like to tell you why you're so excited about this upcoming season. The Chicago Bulls have had basically one winning season in 9 years. They had the 500 season in between that, but basically one season over 500 in 9 years, one playoff appearance, 3 straight play-ins where they all lost to the same team, some tough injuries, and a bunch of other craziness and insanity that's going on around this team. Why should the people be hopeful? Why should Bulls fans be hopeful for this season, this year? The floor is yours.
Let's start out with the state of the East. Number one, there's 3 teams, according to Vegas, that are, to me, clearly better than the Bulls. That's the Knicks, the Cavs, and Orlando Magic. Vegas has the number 4 team being the Atlanta Hawks. Would you be shocked if the Bulls finished with a better record than the Atlanta Hawks? I would not. Yes. I think there's a 25% chance the Bulls will have a better record than the Atlanta Hawks. I don't think there's any other team outside of the top 3 I mentioned that the Bulls could possibly not beat. I think Kobe White, people stopped paying attention to the Chicago Bulls right around February last year. They maybe woke up a little bit when Giddey hit the half-court shot. But I think people are sleeping. I mentioned, how Kobe won the Player of the Month award in the Eastern Conference. That's given out 5 times a year. It's basically 1/6 of the season. He's not the best player just on the Bulls. He's not the best player in division. He's the best player in the conference. And the fact that he took that jump, I think people are sleeping on it completely. I think Kobe White could be that guy. He's 25 years old. The prime of usually an NBA player is 27 to 30. I think he's taking the jump. So that's why I'm excited. And frankly, I'm really sick and tired of hearing these dopes denigrate the Chicago Bulls and their fan base over the course of the last year. People calling them sheep for showing up at the United Center. What does being a fan mean? It's a relationship between you and your team. And whatever relationship it is, whether you're a parent or a husband, you measure yourself how you are in the worst of times. Well, this has been a rough 4 years, but if you're immediately jumping off ship, I find it insane that people are calling for a boycott of the Bulls. We've had a better record winning percentage-wise than the Bears for 4 straight years. Almost every year Acme's been here. Is anybody calling for a boycott of the Bears? No, I don't think you should. But you can pound sand if you're going to tell me not to go to United Center and send some stupid message. Get the heck out of here. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, keep going. You're cooking. What you still cooking for?
Another minute? So I did want to just highlight that. Number one, being a fan, it's not only a relationship with you and the team. Look at all the relationships it's opened up. Dave, we became friends.
We did.
Will, we became friends. I became friends with Katie. And all this starts with being a supportive of the team. And I will say this, the best game I ever went to was in the middle of the 3 Alpha season, January 2nd. Jimmy Butler scored 52 points, and I brought my 2 kids to their first Bulls game. I would never give that up for 15 first-round playoff wins in the interim. So everybody who's telling us to you can do whatever you want in terms of like starting your boycott against the Chicago Bulls or saying I don't want to go to games and trying to convince others to do so. But you can pound sand if you think I'm not a real fan because I'm showing up supporting this team. We're going to surprise a lot of players this year, a lot of teams this year, a lot of fans this year. I'm ready to rock and roll. Let's get going.
That's C-Red Fred, ladies and gentlemen. The Big Red Bus Podcast is where you can join him and find out more about him. Shout out to the podfather, Doug Tonis, who is the co-host. That is Katie Duffy on production on the ones and twos. This man right here is Will the Go Gottlieb. Follow him and read everything he does on allchgo.com. I am Big Dave. You can follow me at BAWL Sports. Bow. Hit the like button on your way out. Make sure you drop a comment. Shout out to Matt Peck. Enjoy your weekend. Go Bears. Go Bulls. See y'all Monday. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.